Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. Myself Dr. Vinodal Desai, Associate Professor, serving at PG Department of Computer Science and Technology, Sardar Patel University, Vallabh Vidyanagar. In today's sessions, we will talk regarding HTML. What is HTML? How do we write HTML? Various tags used in HTML, and apart from that, the use of images, special characters, and horizontal rules. So, as we know that HTML is a base, or we can say a platform through which websites are developed. The full form of HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. It is used to structure and format the content of websites on the World Wide Web. Web developers use it to create a skeleton of modern websites and web pages. HTML gives content structure and meaning by defining that content, for example, headings, paragraphs, or images. So through HTML, we can structure the website or web page that we are designing. It allows us to define the structure, what kind of contents we want to place on a web page or website. Then after we can say another terminology is hypertext. Hypertext is a way of organizing text that allows the users to easily navigate across the web pages and informations. It takes the readers to the different part of the same web page or to a different web pages in a website. Markup language. Okay, as we are saying that HTML is a markup language or hypertext markup language. So you need to be aware regarding what is markup language. So markup language generally doesn't require to be compiled. It is a computer language that is used to add structure and formatting to a text document. Markup language is use a system of tags to define the structure and the content of a document. Okay, so it is generally dealing with the content of the document. It doesn't require any kind of logic. These tags are interpreted by a program or applications to display the document in a specific way. There are various features of HTML. Among that, first we can say it is a standard language used for creating and structuring the web pages. It is a non-programming language, but rather a markup language. As we said, it's a markup language, not a programming language. It's additional details of information, okay, but doesn't contain any logic. Programming language requires logic, but it is a markup language, so it is not dealing with any kind of logic. At the same time, programming language requires to be compiled, while HTML page doesn't require to be compiled. So be careful regarding this difference. HTML describes the semantic meaning of textual content as it marks which text is a heading, which text is a paragraph, which content is an image, which text is a hyperlink, and so forth and on. It supports wide range of media types including text, images, audio and video, which makes web pages more engaging and interactive. It is a flexible language that can be used with other technologies such as CSS and JavaScript to make a web page or website interactive, or we can say a dynamic one. HTML is compatible with all browsers. Web pages created in HTML are displayed on any modern web browsers. When using multiple tags, the tags must be closed in order in which they were defined. It is, we can say, open and standardized language which is acceptable universally. Okay, so whatever web page or websites you are using, it is built using the HTML, and whatever response you are retrieving back from a website, that is also in a HTML format. There are various, we can say, elements that makes a whole document very, we can say, attractive in HTML. So elements are also known as, we can say, the tags. Elements are designators that define the structures and content of objects within a page. Elements are identified by the use of less than and greater than angle brackets surrounding the element name. Thus, an element will look like the following, like we can say less than sign, division and greater than sign. So the thing is that if you want to write an HTML document, you need to know the element, or we can say tags. So the main and primary requirement to write a tag is what? A syntax that is starting with the less than sign, then after the element name, and then after the greater than sign, we can say the closing that a starting tag. So number of tags are there which starts and ends, that we will see in this session. But the most important thing is you need to know the tags and elements which makes the HTML documents. So it is a primary requirement to know the HTML elements. So it is written using the less than and greater than sign. So also the tags use of less than and greater than are, we can say, using angle brackets surrounding the elements create what is known as, that is known as tags, we can say as well. There are three types of tags: HTML paired tags, we can say unpaired tags, and self-closing tags. Okay, so when you are writing a HTML tags, so it is categorized in three formats. We can say paired tags, unpaired tags, and we can say closing tags. What is paired tags? So paired tag in HTML are those tags that have both opening tags and closing tags simply. Paired tag starts with an opening followed by the some content and then after closing tag. Unpaired tags. Unpaired tags in HTML are tags that have only an opening tag and do not have a closing tags. For unpaired tags, an opening tag is sufficient. They do not require a closing tag. These tags are also known as empty tags. HR, BR, we can say these all are known as unpaired tags, we can say. Then after third one is, we can say, self-closing tags. Self-closing tags in HTML are those tags that do not require closing tags. In the self-closing tags, so opening tag is the only important tag required for formatting. Some elements simply receives their content or behavior from attributes in a page or tag. Examples of self-enclosing tags like this: image, input, BR, embed, HR, link, meta, param, and so on and so forth. These are all the examples of self-enclosing tags. Then attributes, we can say, another concept with respect to the HTML document. As we see, the HTML document is consisting of elements, and elements are also categorized in, we can say, paired tags, unpaired tags, and self-enclosing tags. Then after the another concept is attributes. The attributes are properties, we can say, used to provide additional information about an element or tag, we can say. The most common attributes includes the ID attribute, which defines an element, the class attribute, which classifies the, or you can say classifies the element, the source attribute, which specifies the source for the embedded content, and the href attribute, which provides a hyperlink reference to a linked resource. Attributes are defined within the opening tag after an element's name. The syntax, you can see, like A stands for anchor tag, then href equal to, then the source name, or we can say the URL that we have specified, https://baou.edu.in. Okay, then after the, we can say, greater than sign is there, content is there, and then after the anchor tag is closed using, we can say, a closing tag. The preceding code will display the text BAOU on the web page, and the users will be redirected to the particular website while clicking on the BAOU content. Now the another concept with respect to HTML is saving the document. So whenever you have created a HTML page using all these elements and attributes, you need to save it. So it is saved using the extension .html. To begin the HTML, you first need a plain text editor that you are comfortable with that or using it. Sadly, this does not include Microsoft Word or Pages, as those are rich text editors. You are not using Microsoft Word and other, we can say, editors which are rich text editors, but you can use normal editors to write the HTML page. Two of the more popular plain text editors for writing HTML and CSS are Dreamweaver and Sublime Text. Apart from that, you can also use Notepad and Notepad++ if you are conversant with that. Free alternatives is like this: Notepad++ for Windows and Text Wranglers for Mac. All HTML documents have a required structure that includes the following declaration and elements like less than, exclamatory sign, then doc type, HTML, HTML tag, head tag and body tag. This is the structure of any particular HTML page. Let's have a look at practically so that you can easily understand it. As to save this time, I already made the document. So in this document or in file, you can say that the first line is what? A HTML declaration using the doc type, then HTML, then after we can say we have used second line is HTML tag, as you can see. Then after we can say head tag is there, then meta character, then title, then head tag is closed, then body tag, H1 tag, paragraph tag, closing body tag and HTML. So now let's have a look with a particular tag. So you can see that the first one is the doc type HTML declaration. So it tells that you are using a HTML5 version for building this web page. Next declaration is a HTML tag, the starting of the document, and you are mentioning the language attribute that you are using a English language. Then after you are using a head tag. Head tag is a tag which contains other subtags. We can say that among that the first one is meta character set tag. That is meta is a tag and the character set is an attribute and having its value. Then after we can say the title is another sub tag of a head tag. Title specifies of the title of the document that you are building. So here we have specified that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University is the title of our document. So then after we are closing this with this closing tag of title. So title tag requires starting and closing tag. Then head tag is closed. So head tag is having a two, we can say, subtext we have defined. One is meta and second one is title. Then after the body tag is there. So body tag contains the content of our HTML document. Whatever content you want to place in our web page using the HTML, you have to put it under the body tag. So body tag, within that we have used a header tags in the form of H1 and then after a paragraph tag, that is starting the paragraph, and then after we have closed the paragraph tag, and then after we have closed the body tag. So once we close the body tag, we can assume that the web page is going to be completed, and at last we will end this web page using the closing the HTML tag. So this is what the structure of our HTML page. So generally the HTML structure is consisting of declaration of the document type, then after that starting HTML tag, within that we can have a head tag, within the head we can have a title tag, then closing the head tag, then body tag, within the body we will have a number of other tags which makes the body of our document, and at last we can close the body tag and at closing the HTML tag. So it makes a whole HTML document structure. So inside the HTML elements, we have already discussed that head tag is there. Within the head we can say we can have a title tag, and then after closing the head we can have a body tag, and after we can say body tag we can have the content tags which makes the document. At last we can close the body and HTML tags. So this is what the structure of our HTML document is. Moving next to discuss the document type declaration. As I told you that it tells the browser that what kind of the HTML you are going to use to build your web page. Since your web document is written in HTML5, you declare it doc type, exclamatory doc type HTML. Doc type is not a technical in HTML tag, okay, it's actually a XML. While modern browsers are intelligent enough, so will perform a best guessing as to the document type. It is a best practice to specify it explicitly. Always include the doc type at the start of your HTML files. It is advisable to include it. Then after the HTML element which specifies the start of the HTML document. After the HTML we have seen that a head tag is used which indicates the heading of a document which contains a title as its subtag, in which we specify the title of our document. Then after we can say, we have already seen another meta element is there. That meta element is the metadata. It contains metadata about your web pages or documents. Among that, the meta is having a one attribute in the form of, we can say, character set, which specifies the value of UTF-8. So it is a standard character encoding you should use in your web browser or web pages. It will usually be the best or the first tag shown in the head element. The most important meta tag is for the character set, which tells the browser how to convert binary bits from the server into letters. Today, all editors will save files in UTF-8 character set, which supports the mixing of different scripts. It may be Latin, Cyrillic, Chinese, Arabic, etc. in the same file. You can also use the meta tag to include more information about the author, descriptions and keywords of your web page. In terms of meta, then after attribute name is equal to author, or attribute name is equal to description, or attribute name is equal to keywords. And then after the content that you want to specify for the respective name, whether it is author, then specify the name, description, then also provide the content, and if keyword is then also provide the keyword or comma separated keywords we can provide in terms of content. Now, after learning and understanding the structure of our HTML document, if you want to specify the comment in our HTML, then we can easily specify using the less than sign, exclamatory, double dash, and then after the content that we want to place in a comment, and at last we can close it using double dash and greater than sign. So like this, we can provide the comment in our HTML page. So comment is not going to be displayed in our web page. It is just for the reference of the, we can say, users who is dealing with this development of a web page. Now, HTML inline and block elements. There are two concepts, inline and block elements. So HTML elements can be broadly categorized into one of two categories. One is inline and second one is block. So what is inline elements? So there are various inline elements available which are displayed on the same line, we can say. They do not start on a new line and take up only as much width as their content requires. So it is written in the same line where it is declared, and they will not take much, we can say, space or width compared to their, we can say, the content that is going to be displayed in an inline tag or element. Examples of inline elements are span, anchor, strong, images, etc. Block elements are the paragraph, division, H1, figures, etc. Some examples of inline elements we already seen, and examples of, we can say, inline formatting tags are the B tag, that is for bold. We can say other formatting purposes, that is EM, strong, same as bold. Block elements take up the whole horizontal space available in its container. Okay, apart from inline elements, there is a block elements which takes the space, horizontal space available in its container. They starts on a new line and take up as much height as their content requires. For example, of a block element, we can say a paragraph P, we have specified style as its attribute. Then after, this is how block elements works. We have simply displayed here a simple tag of paragraph. Okay, so division or divs and spans are HTML elements that act as containers only for styling purposes. So the block level elements, if we have to specify the example, then division and span are both, we can say, a block level elements used in HTMLs for specifically such purposes. If we have multiple block elements, they will each take a separate line. Divisions and spans do not hold any meaning and are simply containers. Okay, these block level elements, that is division and span, do not have any meaning. They are simply the containers of the content. Division is a block level elements that is commonly used to identify large grouping of content and which helps to build a web page layout and design. We commonly use or see divisions and spans with class or ID attributes for styling purposes. Headings. Heading is also a very important concept in HTML documents. Okay, whenever we are building a web page or websites, we are putting number of contents on a web page, and the content also requires titling. Okay, because each and every paragraph is concerned with a particular kind of a situation or the topic to be discussed. So sometimes we need to put the title for that particular paragraphs. So depending on the importance of title, their sequence, we need to have the heading of a particular paragraph. So through the heading mechanism, we can provide such kind of functionality in our web page. So HTML heading is divided into 6 categories starting from H1 to H6. H1 stands for the larger font size headings, and H6 is the lowest heading with a smaller size font. If we have to go through the practical, we can see this heading mechanism. As you can see now in this document, we have a structure of HTML document, and as we already discussed, that each and every HTML document will follow that structure. So whatever concept now we will discuss, that will be a part of our body tag. So we are not going to discuss the tags we already discussed earlier, like the doc type, HTML, heading, meta, title, heading again. So we will put our content of requirement within the body tag, and that will discuss. So right now we are talking about heading tags. And in heading, we see that it is categorized in total 6 headers from H1 to H6. H1 stands at the top and H6 stands at the lowest. That means if you want a larger font and big headings, then you should put it at the top, that is in the form of H1. Then after, if you want a little bit smaller than H1, then it is into H2. If you still need a smaller than the H2, then it is in H3. So likewise, you can reach to the H6 headings. So if you want such kind of mechanism in your web page, you can put the headers in the form of H1 tag, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. So totally H1 to H6, 6 HTML header tags are available to put up the titles of a content with respect to the required font size and its importance. Okay, if you want to see how the H1, that is containing Gujarat content, then H2 Ahmedabad, H3 Surat, Vadodara, then Rajkot and Gandhinagar, and at last we have used paragraphs. So it is just for the information. How it is going to be displayed on a web page, that we will see by executing this practical. Let us see. As you can see that Gujarat is having a larger font size compared to the Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is larger than Surat. Surat is larger than Baroda. Baroda is larger than Rajkot. Rajkot is larger than Gandhinagar. So total 6 headers is displayed over here from Gujarat to Gandhinagar. And Gujarat is for the highest out, we can say top level headers, that is H1, and Gandhinagar is the last header, that is H6. So based on your requirements, you can put your headers in your web page and design your content. Moving next, that is adding text in a HTML. So after learning the headers concept, if you want to design or format your content in a web page, there are various HTML elements or tags available to format it. Like the elements available are, we can say B stands for bold, strong is also the same meaning with a bold. Then we can say I stands for italic. If you want to format your text in the italic format, then emphasizing the text. If you want to emphasize a particular text, highlight the text, then you can use AM tag. Marking the tag, that means highlighting the background of the text especially. Okay, then small to shrink the text, strike out the text. U stands for underlining the text. INS stands for inserting this text at particular place. Subs used for subscripting the text. Super is used for superscripting the text. This text must be opened and closed around the text. If you want to check these things. Let's practically see so that you can easily understand. Suppose on this, in the same file, if you want to implement it in this paragraph, okay, let us, if I want to, right now you can see in a browser the last one paragraph, this is a heading example, it's written in a normal text, but now we want to format it by some kind of mechanism. Let's see, heading, we want to make this heading a bold one, so we can use this bold tag like this, okay, around the heading. We only want to make heading bold, okay. So we have started with a bold tag and closing bold tag is required. Save it, and then after refresh the web page, now you can see that heading is displayed in a bold formatting. At the same time you can use strong as well, okay. If you want to, we can say mark it, so you can use it, mark, close this tag. As you can see that what the mark does, to highlight the background of the text, so it will now highlight the headings in a background manner. Let us refresh the page. As you can see that heading is having a background yellow color, so it is highlighted. So using the mark tag you can highlight the content of your page, okay. Then after small is there to shrink the text. If you want to shrink this tag text, you can shrink it. If you want to shrink the example, then you can use like this, small. It is very important to keep the order of your tags, otherwise expected result will not be displayed. So wherever you are starting the tag, you need to be very careful where it is required to be closed. Now we have used small tag after the example and it is closed, sorry, before the examples, and then after we have closed after the example content. So this example must be in a small size, okay. Let's refresh it. See here, its regular font size is reduced to certain level, so it is in a small size. You can then after strike, you can strike it, underline it. Let's go for striking it, okay. Instead of smaller size you need to use it strike. So we have used strike, a closing tag, and then after we need to open it. So now what we need to do, we want to strike through this example content. Let's save these changes and refresh the document again. So now you can see that example is striken through. A horizontal line is displayed in a example content. So this is what the another mechanism to format your content. Then after superscripts, insert is there to insert the content somewhere whenever required by you. Then superscript and the two most important tags or elements mostly used in the mathematical subjects, especially to write the equations. Let's see how we can use it. Suppose if we want to write H2O, as you already know that H2O is what? A equation sometimes required, or we can say instead of H2O you might have used A square or B square like this. Generally if you want to write A square, then this is whenever someone is going to read, it is not A square, it is going to be read as A2, okay, not A square. But suppose I want to display this A2, okay, let me to write it a paragraph, okay, we will write in a paragraph. Close the paragraph and use here the break so that it should be displayed on a new line. Now let us see, actually my purpose is to write A square. So if I am not aware with respect to such a formatting tags, then what I will write like this A2, but how it is going to be displayed, let us see. So it will be displayed as it is, whatever we have written in a document, because HTML is not aware regarding how the logic to be applied or what you want to display. Okay, it will display whatever you have written in a document. So you need to be very careful as per your requirement. So here our requirement is a square, not a2. So what I will write, I need this 2 at the top of a. So here I can use sup, that is superscript tag, and then after I will close it like this. So now I have used superscript tag before the 2 which I want at the top of a, and then after I have closed the superscript, and now save this and refresh this again. Now you can see actual reflection is there. Now we can read it as a square. So this is the simple and important functionality of superscript. At the same time, there is another functionality in terms of subscript, H2O, as I have earlier written. So if I will write like this, okay, let me to keep it as it is, and let me to copy it. I will paste it, and I want the content like this, H2O. Okay. So what I will write, H over here. Okay. Then after I want write 2, and then after we can say O. So actually 2 should be below the size of, we can say, compared to the H. So I will write subscript. Instead of super, I will write subscript tag. So now let's save it and refresh it. See here, H2O. So these two tags are very important and widely used in writing equations, especially in a web page. So superscript and subscripts tags are used to write the required content and to design our web page more readable. Moving next, paragraph. Paragraph is very important, as all the contents as we have discussed so far is placed within the paragraph tag. So paragraph is having certain functionality and meanings. Let's see. Sorry. Paragraphs always starts on a new line. Each paragraph starts on a new line even though if there is a sufficient space after the first paragraph. So every paragraph starts with a new line. Make it very clear. By default, browsers automatically add white spaces above and below paragraphs. It is possible to change white space and other design aspects using CSS. So using the CSS we can modify it. Paragraphs automatically remove extra space and lines from our text. We can use the HTML line breaking tags, that is BR, to add line breaks within our paragraphs. Paragraphs can't preserve extra line and space. If we need to create content that uses multiple space and lines, we can use the HTML pre-tag. The pre-tag creates pre-formatted text. So whatever format you need, you have to pre-format it so that it is going to be displayed as it is. So for that you need to use pre-tag. Let's see practically so that you can easily understand how we can deal with paragraph. See here, one file is there. Earlier tags we already discussed. We will directly jump to the body tag. Okay, so in a body we have used header tag, that is HTML. Then after one paragraph is there, that is welcome to BAUU, a simple paragraph. Then another paragraph tag is used to write this is a demonstration of paragraph in HTML document. Then after we can say, okay, we can say that we have written another paragraph, that is paragraph tag removes. Then after we have given a space. See here, after the remove content we have given number of spaces. Okay, but when the content is displayed on a web page, this unnecessary space is going to be removed. Okay, it is not going to be displayed, it will remove. The paragraph tag always removes all extra lines as well. Okay, so it will not put a line, we can say, between two lines of a paragraph until and unless you have explicitly specified using a BR tag. Then we have used a closing paragraph tag. See here, so we have started P tag over here, that is paragraph, and then after we have provided a content, unnecessary spaces and a line, and then after the another content of a paragraph, but when it is displayed on the web page, the unnecessary space and line is going to be removed. Then we can say paragraph tag, another is there. So the paragraph content is going to be displayed on a new line, as we have used a break tag over here. And if you want certain mechanism that whatever content you have placed on a document, that should be displayed as it is on your web page, then as we discussed, you need to use pre-formatted tags in the form of PRE. So here we have used PRE tag. So what will happen, whatever now we have written like this is to be displayed on a first line, then in the next line an era, okay, then after of India and its vast glory. So the same way it is going to be displayed as it is contained and covered under the pre-tag, the starting pre-tag and ending pre-tag. And at last, if you want extra space within the line, then you can use this, we can say word, that is ampersand NBSP semicolon. So this, when you write ampersand NBSP semicolon, it will provide a one single space. If you want another, then you can copy paste it, so that as per a requirement, the spacing mechanism and the number of space requirement is going to be filled up in your content. So this is the mechanism of a paragraphs. Let us run it so that you can easily understand it. As you can see, whatever we have written in our document, it is displayed as it is. Okay. Unnecessary space is removed, lines is removed, and pre-formatted text is displayed as we have formatted and displayed in our document. Moving next, special characters. So there are various special characters available in our HTML document, and it is widely used to mention the meaning of a particular content without writing much in detail. To add a special characters in HTML, we can always type ampersand sign, okay, and then after followed by the hash sign at the place within your HTML document where you want to add a special characters. Type a number of proper code for the special characters to be added, okay. Then after type a semicolon to finish it, okay. So once the semicolon is there, then it is assumed that your special character is going to be terminated over here. For example, if you want to display a copyright symbol, okay, then we should use either ampersand hash sign and 169 semicolon or ampersand copy semicolon in your code. So it will display the, we can say, copyright symbol in our HTML web page. So there are various, we can say, special characters available that you can see in this table. Okay, if you want, we can say ampersand, then also use, we can say, numbered entity code, that is, named entity code in the second column and the numeric entity code in a third column. You can use ampersand AMP semicolon, then in a numeric, we can say, entity code, you can write ampersand hash 38. The same way for the less than sign, you can use ampersand L3 semicolon, or in a numeric entity, you can write ampersand hash 60. Likewise for greater than, double quote, single quote, copyright, trademark, registered trademark, smiling face, laughing face, smiling face with holo. So various kinds of special characters available and you can get it. Let's have a taste it practically so that you can understand it properly. Okay, here also you can see now in a body tag we have written various paragraphs for displaying, we can say, various special characters. We are using for the hammer. If you want to display a hammer symbol, then there is a, we can say, special character in the form of ampersand hash 128296 semicolon, a numerical entity code. Then after copyright symbol, strawberry symbol. For registered trademark, ampersand symbol, trademark symbol, smiling face, fearful face, ghost, robot face, world map, and trophy. Okay, so for that we have used various, we can say, symbols for the special wild characters to be displayed on our web page. Okay, let's test it after saving the file so that you can have an idea. how it is going to be displayed. You can see here various special symbols are displayed using the special characters. Hammer, copyright symbols, strawberry symbols, ghost. So this way you can use the special symbols, okay, either using the named entity code or using the numerical entity code as per your requirement, whichever convenient to you. The symbol is going to be displayed on your web page. Then horizontal rules is another concept. So this is what, while working on the web page, you may want to add a horizontal rule or line to indicate the thematic change between different sections. So to create it in HTML, we can use HR tag. HR tag stands for horizontal rule. HR is a block level element that moves all the elements after it to another line. In the version earlier than the HTML5, the HR tag was used for presentational purpose only. From HTML5, this tag provides semantic meanings to a web page layout. Let's have a look how HR tag can be used as a horizontal rule to bifurcate the content of various types of content to be displayed on a web page. So here we can see that we have HTML documents with various initial contents, and then after in the body tag we have used paragraph tag. Okay, then after we have a HR tag, and then after a paragraph tag. Let me to give enough space to understand. So here in the first paragraph you can see this is an example of a horizontal rule, a content to be displayed. Then after in the HR tag we have used, see here we have used various attributes in the form of width, that is 50%, the color to be used for specifying this horizontal rule so that it can be identified, that is green. Then the size of this horizontal rule would be 50 pixels and it is aligned as a centered one. So it will be displayed in a centered. So this is what a horizontal rule is going to be displayed on our web page. Then after another paragraph is there, but this paragraph is also having a horizontal rule. See here, you can use a paragraph tag is started, then you can use the HTML, and then after we have used here the horizontal rule, a self-enclosing tag we can say, okay, to separate out different topics on the page. Okay, so what is the difference of these two HR tags? One is separately used HR and then after another is used in a paragraph tag. You can simply understand just looking at the execution. Let's see how it reflects this change. You can see here, so this is the, we can say HR tags that we have used along with various attributes like width and color. While this is what the line that we have used between the paragraph using the HR self-enclosing tag. So it bifurcates the content of the page by simply providing the horizontal rule or division of the document, we can say simply in our simple terms. Okay, you can have the changes in these values of width and size of the horizontal rules. So this is very, we can say, effective while we can say providing the thematic change to our HTML content. HR having these tags is having attributes as we have seen in the previous example, that alignment is there, width is there, size is there, no shade is there, and colors, and based on that we are providing the appropriate or we can say constant values to the attributes, and we have discussed it. So thank you very much. In these sessions we have discussed the basic structure of a document, HTML documents, which tags are required for every HTML document in terms of doc type, HTML, head, title, body, and within the body we can write various other tags for making our web page very informative. And then after, what kind of formatting tags we can provide to make our tag content attractive and readable. Apart from that, various special characters that we people are using in our web pages. Thank you very much.